Hey everybody, it's Marissa with Cloud9 Nanny, and today I wanted to cover my top 5 tips for families when they're interviewing a potential nanny. So the top 5 tips for scheduling the interview, for how the interview should go, things like that. So first off, I recommend to all of my families to schedule a time if there are 2 adults involved in your family, a mom and dad, or mom and mom, or dad and dad, whatever it is. Try to schedule it around both of your schedules. It's so nice to have that level of comfort of your spouse next to you while you're inviting a stranger into your home. Also, it's great to have their perspective, and they bring a whole new dynamic to a situation where you're meeting somebody new. And it's great to have that perspective when it comes down to actually finalizing who you like the best. Sometimes you might have multiple candidates who are really great, and so it's great to have a perspective to help somebody, have your spouse help you filter out who they liked the best as well. Next, try to schedule a time when the kids can be otherwise occupied, whether that's during nap time, or they can go out and outing, or they can be with another sitter in another part of the house. I definitely recommend that for the first interview. The second interview, when you meet with somebody, that's a great time for them to meet the kids. But the first time, it's kind of like a first date. You're getting to know them. You want to be able to be totally focused on their answers to their questions. And for any parent, it can be very distracting to have to try to listen to somebody's answers to questions while you're watching your 6-month-olds play on the ground next to you, or your toddler running around the house. So it's great to have the opportunity to have the undivided attention towards the nanny and her answers so that you can get to know her the best possible way. Also, I recommend that you give yourself plenty of time in between multiple candidates. So if you decide to do all of your interviews in one day because that's the only day you can get both of you together, that's fine. Make sure you space them out accordingly. A good interview could take at least an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours if you're really liking her and you're getting to know her, and your time just flies sometimes. And you want to allow yourself plenty of time to just get to know her, as well as plenty of downtime in between interviews. The last thing you want are candidates like bumping into each other on the way out. I would recommend that for maybe some sort of corporate position where you're trying to kind of size each other up or let them know that they have competition. But I think for somebody who's working in your home, that's not the kind of spirit you want to encourage. And you don't want anybody feeling uncomfortable when they leave your house. You want them to leave with the best impression of you possible. Also, an interview can be very draining. You're getting to know somebody, you're trying to put your best foot forward and really try to get to know them, and that takes time and energy. So you really want to make sure you're spacing out your interviews with plenty of downtime in between. So you might want to stagger them by like every 2 to 2.5 hours. So that's definitely what I recommend for scheduling. Next, you want to make sure that your home is inviting and tidy. I know a lot of you would be mortified to invite a stranger into a dirty home, but it happens. And so, just so you know, the nanny is interviewing you as much as you're interviewing them. So you want to give them a situation where they feel comfortable. And I know it can be stressful trying to schedule all of these interviews around your busy schedule. And that's okay. They don't expect it to be spotless, by any means. Nannies are very understanding people, but you want to at least, tidy up a little bit and give them an opportunity just to feel comfortable and in a good, organized environment. Lastly, I recommend that you come up with some of your own creative questions. All of the families that I work with, I come up with an in-depth list of great questions for the interview, but I love families who also come up with their own personalized questions. Sometimes there's stuff that you care about that isn't covered in my list. They're personal to you. And I love that parents will take the opportunity to come up with some of those so that they really are making an attempt to get to know this nanny. Maybe it's questions like, what book are you reading right now? Or what music do you like to listen to? So I definitely recommend being creative, coming up with some of those extra questions so that you can really get to know her and get that added level of comfort. So that's it for today. Those are my tips for interviewing nanny candidates for families, and stay tuned for future videos.